So I've been playing a lot of Dark Souls lately, and I've also been working on a model, and I've been painting. And I find that my painting lends really well to model making, and model making lends well to my paintings. And when I take breaks, I play Dark Souls. Now, one of the most iconic things, I guess, game items, or not an item, but aspects, is the bonfire. So I'm gonna make one. Now, as you can see, I had a little base. I think I found that a while ago while I was still in school, and some wire, some cork, some little hand drills. It had some modeling sand, some super glue, as well as, that wasn't in that previous clip, some sawdust and some modeling gel, and that really helps build that texture. You know, use the cork as a base, and the twisted wire, obviously, is the twisted sword. So that is the twisted sword made out of wire, and a little bit of a ground. You know, it's already starting to take shape. That's my reference photo, I think, from the first Dark Souls, and you know, I'm gonna get going. Oh, also some epoxy clay. That's the other thing I got. So I started by mixing that sawdust. Well, I just got it out actually, and I'm mixing together the two halves of the epoxy clay. I'm gonna make some of those bones that you saw in that picture I had. Now this epoxy clay, it is really soft and workable, and you can get these nice rough shapes, and then wait an hour or so, and it gets nice and moldable. That epoxy clay, you know, with just can get it into the right shape and texture, and the fingerprints actually work well. I made that little rig in my mechanical pencil to make skulls and heads and stuff, and I think this little mush guy will work well on a base. It doesn't have to be too detailed, especially you could see in that reference photo that there's not much detail, even though it's kind of blurry. You know, it's just general bone shapes. There's the sawdust and gloss gel, regular gel matte, medium. So mixing these two things together, you get a nice clump, and then add some little bits of plaster and rock and stuff, and mold it around that cork base. So you can see it's a nice mound. It's very textured. It's, you know, kind of just looks like a lump of barf and boogers and whatnot, but that mound has now got a little bit more dimension than the just the cork. So just gotta wait for that to dry, and then I can paint it up. Now it's dry. It's still got some give to it, but which will be good for adding the bones that are also now pretty dry and not so squishy. I can still, as I said before, I can get them to the exact right position a little better now, but they're not so squishy and won't smush on me as I'm trying to take them off awkwardly from the modeling sand lid. Because I don't do this very often. I'm holding the camera with my left hand and looking through the camera as I do it. But yeah, gotta build that base up first before I do anything else, and it's just bits and pieces. I'm planning to have things all in place properly for the painting. Jumping off of that photo as a reference to I don't know, just looks like some pile of bones on some ash, because, you know, a portal for the undead, obviously ash and bones. So ribs, skeleton, femurs, you know the dealio. Just use it as a reference and go from there. Shaping them in place, looking good. Dancing a little bit too. Putting in that modeling sand for that extra bit of texture that you can't get in the sawdust. And that's about does it for the base. That modeling sand really adds that texture for that depth, and bury the bones a little bit. You know, it's a used bonfire. Many souls have passed through here, looking for solace and to, you know, reinforce that Estus, get to the fire link, you know what I'm saying? Gotta build it up. Now it's time for the twisted sword. Get that epoxy clay going. Added a lot more than I needed and filled it in with, scraped it all off with these dental tools to fill in the cracks. And then built it up again to get the hilt and the crossguard, and that's about it. And then it's on to painting from there. There it is. I worked on a little bit after I took this video once it dried some more, but you know, it's looking nice and clunky, nice and worn, as it should, and looking like a bonfire starting to take shape and soon for painting. Ready. Didn't take a video of me priming it because that's boring, but now it's all one color and primed and ready to go for some color. Gotta build up those layers and washes, you know. So starting with a fairly flat, kind of glossy black here, just helps create that depth a little more, starting dark and then going up to light. Sometimes the opposite is true, but I think here black on the base, having a flat black base really lends itself to the whole Dark Souls vibe and the bonfire. All about that dark finding the light, you know. So that's what we're gonna do on this bonfire here. Some airbrushing, and there's the light highlighted up a little. All the paints that I need, some golden acrylic, some Vallejo, and some AK washes and enamel rust bullshit, you know what I'm saying. Got all that ready for those layers. Got that satin glazing medium and the painting begins. Gotta squirt out all the colors, use my freaking wrench, whatever, pliers to open the lids because they're all solid shut. Always gonna start the rusty sword and the gravel, ash, bones. Build it all up one piece at a time. Yeah, really, that's what it's about. Building, slowly building, using the right colors, a nice color palette, simple, refined. Using a small, nice, refined color palette. Only a few colors help them, colors that bounce off of each other, and I know that work well and can lend themselves to this sort of work. Bones and dirt and rust, grays and browns and yellows, very muted, soft tones. The refined palette, I find, you know, it really, you know, when you work with a little bit, you can help, you can push it. You don't, and nothing gets lost, nothing gets bogged down in too many things. It's a nice, clear path forward. And that black oil paint really pushes it. You can see that black oil paint really, you know, everything was pretty saturated, but that black oil paint really pushed everything to the background and, you know, even push that depth further, helping, you know, create that illusion of real, that this is a real object in the real Dark Souls world, in Lothric, in Lordran, you know. Okay, now it's time to get that fire going, get those 4 or 5 colors out, you know, reds, orange, yellows. Start to build it up, mix them, only use the same ones, keep using the same brush, you know, everything has everything, dark, light, yellow, red, orange, it's all coming together. Hit them with that subtle airbrush, a little bit of pinky, purpley, reddy, orange, a nice glow going, some few squirts, that's all it needs. And then you hit them with those highlights again. those highlights afterwards, the airbrush, I think were really necessary. It helped everything pop again, helped bring out those bones, helped that glow, light and dark and light over and over again. That's how you create those layers, how you get that depth. So now that we got those colors there, we gotta actually make the fire now. So I'm gonna use some hot glue. I've only really done this once before and it kind of worked. And I didn't really have anything else I wanted for the direction that I was going. I was thinking cotton, but I'm pretty sure this hot glue worked out pretty well. Got the shape I needed, and it was time to paint it up pretty quick. And just like that, the bonfire is born. There it is. There is the bonfire waiting for you, poor